In a world where abundance often equates to clutter, the true essence of fulfillment remains elusive. Welcome to Stoic in Your Life, where today we unravel the minimalist philosophy of Stoicism in our episode, The Less You Want, the More You Have. True contentment doesn't dwell in the external, the sprawling estates or the web of intricate relationships. It's an inward journey. Without inner tranquility, external pursuits are mere mirages in the desert of fulfillment. Our life, a complex tapestry, begins with simple threads of childhood deserts. Remember the allure of those shiny toys? Yet, satisfaction remained just out of reach, a mirage flickering in the distance as the tapestry of life unfolds. Our desires don't just grow. They explode into a myriad of complex dreams and ambitions. This relentless pursuit, a marathon with no finish line, becomes our life's narrative. We chase happiness, joy, and a sense of completeness. But these are horizons that recede as we approach. The hunger for more becomes a voracious appetite, an insatiable void that no amount of material wealth can fill. This endless cycle, a Sisyphean ordeal, begs the question: if accumulating more doesn't equate to lasting happiness, isn't it time to redefine what true happiness means? Join us on this journey at Stoic in Your Life as we explore how embracing minimalism and the profound teachings of Stoicism can lead to a life of genuine abundance and inner peace. One, the less you want, the more you have. On a quest for happiness, you setting the lofty goal of amassing $1 million as the benchmark for achieving this elusive state. This mindset ensnares us in a perpetual cycle of dissatisfaction as our happiness becomes contingent upon reaching this financial milestone. Reflecting on the global distribution of wealth, where the majority languish in poverty while a select few bask in the opulence of millions, it becomes evident that happiness, when measured by such material standards, is a rare commodity indeed. The relentless pursuit of such elusive goals ensnares us in a web of stress, discontent, and insecurity. We become consumed by the fear of loss, the anxiety of unmet desires, and the uncertainty of a future that may not align with our meticulously laid plans. It's a precarious tightrope walk, where the slightest misstep can plunge us into the abyss of dissatisfaction. In stark contrast, the philosophy of minimalism offers a sanctuary of abundance. By recalibrating our desires and simplifying our needs, we unlock the door to contentment. This profound realization echoes the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who once declared, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Embracing this minimalist mindset liberates us from the shackles of scarcity, allowing us to bask in the abundance of the present moment. The beauty of this approach lies in its simplicity. The less we yearn for, the more we possess. In this state of abundance, the fear of loss diminishes, the anxiety of missing out fades, and the dread of change loses its grip on our psyche. We find solace in the present, content with what we have and unburdened by the relentless pursuit of what we lack. In our modern lives, bombarded by the incessant clamor of consumerism and the allure of material success, the minimalist philosophy of Stoicism shines as a beacon of tranquility. It beckons us to reassess our priorities, to strip away the superfluous, and to cherish the richness of a life unencumbered by excess. As we navigate the tumultuous seas of existence, let us anchor ourselves in the serene waters of Stoic wisdom, embracing the abundance that flows from wanting less and savoring more. 2. Minimalist lifestyle. In a world that often equates more with better, the minimalist lifestyle emerges as a beacon of clarity, teaching us that the true essence of abundance is not in having more, but in desiring less. The intricate dance between our desires and our happiness is a delicate one. The more conditions we set for our happiness, the more elusive it becomes. This is akin to building a castle on sand, where the pursuit of a perfect life, a perfect home, family, job, and social circle becomes a fragile endeavor. Each aspect of life becomes a card in a precariously balanced house of cards, ready to tumble down at the slightest disturbance. This paradox of desire is illuminated by the backwards law. The more we seek to satisfy our desires, the more dissatisfied we become. It's a cycle of wanting that leads to an endless sense of scarcity. Yet, there's profound beauty and freedom in simplicity. When we shift our focus from what we want to what we truly need, we discover that abundance isn't about having more, but about needing less. What constitutes enough is deeply personal and ever-evolving. A student might find contentment in simple pleasures like food and social gatherings, while a seasoned professional might find these same pleasures insufficient. The journey towards contentment is not about stripping away our desires entirely, for they are a fundamental part of our human experience. Instead, it's about recalibrating our perception of what's enough. Like the vast oceans that have endured the test of time, remaining abundant through the Earth's countless transformations, we too can find a state of contentment that is resilient and enduring. Imagine a life where happiness is derived from the essentials, basic necessities, and meaningful connections. In this life, contentment is not a rare commodity, but a constant presence, for it relies on what is plentiful and readily available. Yet the path to minimalist contentment is not about extinguishing all desires, but about mastering them. It's about residing more in a space of abundance than in a realm of lack. As the philosopher Epicurus wisely stated, the secret to happiness is not found in adding to one's riches, but in subtracting from one's desires. In embracing this philosophy, we find that the less we need, the more empowered and content we become. By reducing our desires and focusing on what truly matters, we can find a deeper sense of satisfaction and resilience. It's a journey of understanding that true abundance comes not from the external accumulation of things, but from an internal recalibration of our needs and desires. As we navigate through life's ebbs and flows, let us remember that the richest life may not be the one filled with possessions, but the one rich in contentment, simplicity, and peace. 3. The power of moderation. In our journey through the realms of Stoicism and minimalist philosophy, we've often encountered the profound notion that in simplicity lies the greatest wealth. Today, let's delve deeper into this concept, exploring the transformative power of moderation, a principle that can lead us to a life of abundance and contentment. Reflecting on the teachings of Epicurus, we previously uncovered his categorization of desires, the essential ones like food, shelter, and rest, the non-essential yet natural ones like gourmet meals and designer clothes, and the vain desires such as the pursuit of power, excessive wealth, and fame. Epicurus advocated for a life where our focus is on fulfilling our basic, easily attainable needs while steering clear of the latter, more elusive desires. Yet in our modern era, we find ourselves amidst a plethora of options that aren't strictly necessary for our happiness but are readily available, like an endless stream of music, an array of video games, or the vast universe of content on platforms like YouTube. The abundance of these pleasures is undeniable. However, it's this very abundance that often leads us down the path of overindulgence. As we immerse ourselves more and more, our senses demand increasingly greater stimulation to experience the same level of satisfaction. This insatiable hunger paradoxically leaves us feeling less abundant, caught in a cycle where the more we consume, the less fulfilled we feel. It's a poignant reminder that if we don't choose our desires wisely, they might lead us to a state of disempowerment, despite the apparent abundance surrounding us. Here, the Stoic virtue of moderation comes to our rescue, offering a beacon of wisdom in navigating these turbulent waters. Moderation isn't just about restraint. It's about cultivating modesty and self-control, about discerning between what we need and what we want. It's a call to master our desires rather than becoming slaves to them. When we embrace moderation, we aren't deprived. Instead, we gain the freedom to enjoy life's pleasures without being ensnared by them. They remain abundant and enjoyable because we engage with them on our terms, savoring each experience fully, without the compulsion to always seek more. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, eloquently stated, It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. This powerful quote encapsulates the essence of our discussion. In craving less, in seeking joy in the simple and the essential, we discover a wealth that is both profound and enduring. We learn that true abundance isn't about having everything, but finding richness in everything we have. As we navigate through life, let's carry with us the wisdom of moderation. Let's choose our desires thoughtfully, engage with the world mindfully, and remember that in the art of wanting less we uncover the secret to having more. In this space of clarity and contentment, we find the true abundance that Minimalist philosophy and Stoicism promise, a life rich in experiences, in joy, and in the serene acceptance of the ebb and flow of existence. 4. Being thankful for what we have. In the intricate dance of life, our gaze often fixates on the distant horizons of desire, overlooking the treasures nestled in our immediate grasp. This habitual yearning, a trait all too human, trades the potential bliss of the present for the elusive shadows of unattained dreams, weaving a tapestry of discontent. Yet, within the realm of our own existence lies a reservoir of joy, so readily accessible and profoundly intimate. What could be more within reach than the blessings we already possess? The art of contentment, therefore, is not in the relentless pursuit of the new, but in the heartfelt appreciation of the now. When we shift our focus from the absence to the abundance that life offers, we unlock a wellspring of happiness, transforming the mundane into the extraordinary. Consider the humble abode we call home. Often, eyes clouded by comparison and societal benchmarks may view our dwellings as lacking, perhaps too modest in size, seasoned by time, or lacking in modern allure. Yet, this perspective is but a veil, obscuring the true essence of our sanctuaries. To see our homes through the lens of gratitude is to recognize them as havens of warmth and security. In a world where countless souls wander in search of shelter, the very walls we take for granted stand as silent guardians of our peace. By embracing our homes with their perceived imperfections, we engage in an act of profound reverence, acknowledging their role as the silent custodians of our daily lives. This paradigm shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of gratitude does more than soothe the restless spirit. It elevates the ordinary to the extraordinary. The very act of cherishing what was once deemed inadequate breathes new life into the old, casting a glow of contentment on what was previously overshadowed by the allure of the unattained. In the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, he is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. Gratitude, therefore, emerges not merely as a serene harbor in the tumultuous sea of life, but as a prudent steward of our resources. The pursuit of the new, while often glittering with promise, exacts a heavy toll, not just in material terms but in the currency of our inner peace. Contentment, on the other hand, is a sanctuary where the soul finds respite, and the heart discovers abundance in the simplicity of being. In our modern existence, where the currents of consumerism and comparison constantly beckon, the practice of gratitude stands as a beacon of wisdom. It invites us to anchor ourselves in the present, to celebrate the ordinary, and to find beauty in the fabric of our everyday lives. As we navigate the complexities of our era, let us embrace this timeless Stoic virtue, weaving gratitude into the tapestry of our daily existence, and in doing so, discover that in wanting less, we indeed have more. 5. Contemplating the price of our needs. In our journey through life, we often overlook the hidden costs of our desires, not realizing that the true expense is measured not just in currency, but in the very hours and energy we dedicate to acquiring these wants. This concept, deeply rooted in minimalist and Stoic philosophy, teaches us that abundance isn't about possessing a multitude, but about desiring less and understanding the true value of our choices. Consider the dynamics of need and affordability. Commonly, what is plentiful is deemed inexpensive, while rarity often commands a higher price. The ease of acquiring something doesn't just hinge on its market price but also on our personal circumstances. For instance, a luxury item like an expensive watch might be a trivial purchase for the affluent but a monumental goal for someone with lesser means. The watch's price tag doesn't change, but its relative value does, dramatically so depending on who desires it. This disparity prompts us to reflect deeply on the real cost of our needs and wants. Henry David Thoreau, an American philosopher, succinctly captured this sentiment, stating, "The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it." This profound statement urges us to consider each desire as a transaction, not just of money, but of our life's moments, our labor, and even our well-being. When we covet something, it's crucial to ask ourselves, what portion of my life am I willing to trade for this? How many hours of toil, how much stress and health are at stake for this possession? Items that demand a minimal slice of our life can be deemed affordable, while those that consume a significant portion are in truth quite costly. By orienting our desires towards needs that are simpler and easier to fulfill, we invite a sense of abundance into our lives. This abundance doesn't necessarily stem from having more, but from the realization that what we desire doesn't demand much from our life's ledger. It's a perspective that finds wealth in simplicity and satisfaction in modesty. For instance, opting for an extravagant mortgage to secure a dream home might seem appealing, but if it means living on the edge, the perpetual strain might eclipse the joy of the home itself. In this light, the Stoic and Minimalist philosophy doesn't just offer a strategy for financial prudence, but presents a profound way to measure and appreciate life itself. It teaches us that true abundance lies not in the excess of possessions, but in the richness of experiences, the tranquility of mind, and the freedom from relentless desires. As we navigate through our daily choices, let's remember that the greatest wealth we can accumulate is the unspent hours of our lives, the moments we cherish without the shadow of needless wants. In embracing this wisdom, we not only enrich our existence, but also cultivate a sanctuary of peace and contentment within our hearts. 6. Staying out of long-term debt. The mere mention of debt conjures images of financial burdens, yet there's a subtler, more pervasive form of debt that ensnares us. The debt we owe to our desires. A relentless creditor that resides within our own minds. Imagine this. Each flicker of desire plunges us into a state of owing, shifting us from the serene shores of contentment into the turbulent seas of longing. Our mind, much like a persistent debt collector, incessantly demands the satisfaction of these desires, leaving us in a perpetual state of deficit. Consider the basic necessities of life, such as hunger and fatigue. These are debts of nature, and in most parts of the world, they can be readily paid off with food and rest. The real challenge emerges when we entangle ourselves in the web of long-term desires. These are not mere whims, but deep-seated yearnings that, if left unfulfilled, create a void within us, a sense of incompleteness that lingers and festers. Take, for instance, the torment of unrequited love. It's a scenario many can relate to, harboring romantic feelings for someone who doesn't reciprocate. In such cases, the mind transforms this one-sided affection into a non-negotiable condition for happiness, thrusting us into a state of emotional indebtedness. We find ourselves shackled to a hope that may never materialize, a strategy for happiness that is fundamentally flawed. Here the wisdom of Stoicism shines a guiding light. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This profound insight beckons us to reassess our desires, to distinguish between what is necessary and what is superfluous. It's a call to embrace a minimalist philosophy, to realize that by wanting less, we are not depriving ourselves, but rather liberating ourselves from the chains of insatiable longing. In this minimalist approach, we find the key to true abundance. It's not about the accumulation of material wealth or the pursuit of fleeting pleasures. Rather, it's about cultivating an inner richness, a state of being where contentment and peace reign supreme. It's about understanding that the most valuable treasures are those that can't be quantified or possessed. The tranquility of a contented mind, the resilience of a steadfast spirit, and the freedom that comes from breaking free from the relentless cycle of desire and debt. So, as we navigate the complexities of life, Let us take a moment to reflect on our desires. Let us question whether they serve our highest good or whether they ensnare us in a perpetual state of wanting. Let us embrace the minimalist philosophy, not as a means of deprivation, but as a pathway to true abundance. For in the wise words of another Stoic philosopher, Seneca, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. Let this be our guiding principle as we strive to live a life of abundance, not through the accumulation of more, but through the profound realization that the less we want, the more we truly have. 7. Life has its gains and losses. In the intricate tapestry of existence, the concept of less is more emerges as a profound truth, resonating deeply with the age-old wisdom of Stoicism. This philosophy, a beacon of clarity in the tumultuous sea of life, teaches us that embracing simplicity is not merely a lifestyle choice but a gateway to a richer, more fulfilling existence. A simple life, a noble soul, is the highest state of life. Echoes through the ages, a timeless reminder from the Stoic sages that the essence of true abundance lies not in the accumulation of material wealth, but in the cultivation of inner richness. Life, in its inherent nature, is a delicate balance of gains and losses, a dance of holding on and letting go. It's a journey where the paths we tread are often cluttered with the debris of desires and the weight of worldly possessions. Yet, it is in the art of releasing, in the act of shedding the unnecessary, that we find the space to breathe, to grow, and to savor the core of what truly matters. Living simply, therefore, is not about depriving oneself but about refining one's focus, distilling life to its purest form, where every moment is lived, not just survived. In this pursuit of simplicity, we are not alone. The Stoic philosophers, with their profound insights, guide us like stars in the night sky. Seneca, a Stoic luminary, once remarked, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." This powerful statement encapsulates the essence of Stoic minimalism, the understanding that true wealth is not measured by what we possess, but by how content we are with what we have. It's a call to shift our gaze from the external to the internal, to find abundance in the tranquility of the mind, rather than the chaos of incessant wanting. In our modern world, where the pursuit of more is often mistaken for the pursuit of happiness, the Stoic philosophy of minimalism offers a refreshing counter-narrative. It invites us to declutter not just our physical spaces, but our mental landscapes as well. By letting go of the superfluous, we make room for what genuinely enriches our lives: meaningful relationships, soulful passions, and inner peace. It's about choosing quality over quantity, depth over breadth, and essence over appearance. As we navigate through the complexities of contemporary life, the Stoic wisdom of living with less to have more serves as a guiding light. It encourages us to examine our choices, to discern the essential from the ephemeral, and to embrace the beauty of simplicity. In doing so, we not only free ourselves from the shackles of material excess, but also open our hearts to the infinite possibilities that life offers. For in the words of Marcus Aurelius, another revered Stoic philosopher, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. In conclusion, the journey towards a minimalist lifestyle, inspired by Stoic philosophy, is not about renouncing the world but about rediscovering it in its purest form. It's a journey of transformation, where each step taken in the direction of simplicity is a step towards a more abundant, more authentic life. So, let us tread this path with a serene mind and a resilient spirit, for in the art of wanting less, we truly find the treasure of having more. 8. Be happy whenever you can. In our journey through life, the quest for happiness often takes center stage, yet its true essence remains elusive to many. The ancient wisdom of Stoicism offers a profound insight into this pursuit, teaching us that happiness is not found in the perfection of life, but rather in embracing its inherent imperfections. This philosophy encourages us to discard the notion that a flawless existence is synonymous with joy. Instead, it posits that true happiness is cultivated through experiencing life's sorrows and challenges, as these moments foster empathy and connection with others who face similar trials. The beauty of life, with its rich tapestry of emotions, lies in its ability to shape us, to mold our character, and to deepen our understanding of the human condition. By acknowledging and accepting the ebbs and flows of our existence, we learn that happiness is not a constant state of euphoria, but a balanced experience of both highs and lows. Consider the story of the oak tree, which stands tall and strong, not in spite of the storms it endures, but because of them. Each tempest it faces strengthens its roots, enabling it to grow taller and more resilient. Similarly, our struggles and hardships fortify our spirit, teaching us resilience and granting us the wisdom to appreciate the calm after the storm. This allegory mirrors the Stoic belief that personal growth and happiness are inextricably linked to our trials and tribulations. It is through facing adversity that we develop a deeper appreciation for life's fleeting moments of joy and learn the value of contentment. To cultivate a happier life, Stoicism advises us to halt the endless pursuit of perpetual happiness, a pursuit that often leads to disappointment and dissatisfaction. Instead, we should strive for a state of equanimity, where we accept life's inherent unpredictability and find peace in the knowledge that happiness, like all emotions, is transient. This acceptance allows us to experience joy in its purest form, unburdened by the fear of its inevitable departure. Incorporating this Stoic principle into our daily lives requires a shift in perspective. We must learn to find beauty in the mundane, to see the lessons in our losses, and to cherish the simple moments that bring us joy. By doing so, we not only enhance our own well-being but also inspire those around us to adopt a more Stoic approach to happiness. In conclusion, the Stoic path to happiness is not one of constant euphoria, but of balanced acceptance of life's inherent ups and downs. It teaches us that true happiness stems from our ability to embrace life's imperfections, to grow from our challenges, and to find joy in the journey, not just the destination. As we navigate the complexities of life, let us remember that happiness is a state of mind, cultivated not by seeking perfection, but by finding meaning and gratitude in every experience. Let this Stoic wisdom guide us toward a more fulfilled and contented life, where happiness is not an elusive goal, but a natural byproduct of living authentically and embracing the full spectrum of human experience. Happiness is about desiring less. In the dance of life, it's often whispered that happiness is a melody, played not by acquiring more, but by desiring less. A world where the measure of joy isn't tethered to the weight of gold in one's pocket, but to the lightness of contentment in one's heart. It's a profound realization, isn't it? That the chase for more, a bigger house, a fancier car, a fatter bank account, can often lead us down a path strewn with dissatisfaction. The truth is, our desires are like the horizon, always a step beyond our grasp, forever enticing us to journey further, yet never allowing us to arrive. Consider the ocean, with its waves tirelessly reaching for the shore, only to retreat and try again. We too have longed for the waves of fate, yearning for the spotlight, for success that turns heads. Yet in this pursuit, there's a whisper of wisdom that echoes through the ages, a Stoic reminder from the likes of Epictetus who said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." It's in this realization that we discover the most breathtaking scenery isn't found in the external world, but in the serene landscape of our inner tranquility. Imagine embracing the simplicity of being, of finding solace in the ordinary, of recognizing that in the tapestry of life, every thread, no matter how seemingly insignificant, adds depth and beauty to the picture. It's about understanding that the quest for more often leaves us less room to grow, to breathe, to be. When we're ensnared by material desires, we risk losing sight of our true north, of the values and dreams that give our life meaning beyond the material. The pursuit of material wealth is akin to building castles on shifting sands, temporary, fleeting, and ultimately unfulfilling. Marcus Aurelius once mused, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. It's a poignant reminder that in the relentless pursuit of material gains, we often sacrifice the very essence of living. We overlook the simple joys, the quiet moments, the beauty that doesn't demand a price tag. But what of those who choose the path less trodden, who opt for a life of simplicity? They are the ones who navigate life's journey unburdened by the weight of unnecessary wants. They understand that true necessity is not about having everything, but about having what truly matters. In this clarity, there's freedom. Freedom from the tumult of constant wanting, freedom to savor life's simple pleasures, freedom to be present, here and now. Yet it's not just about renouncing material desires. It's about cultivating an inner richness, a clarity of purpose that guides us through life's ebbs and flows. It's about understanding, as Seneca so eloquently put it, that it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. In this light, happiness is not a destination to be reached, but a journey to be savored, a state of being that flourishes not from the abundance of possessions, but from the abundance of being, from the richness of simplicity, from the courage to desire less and live more. 10. Nurture the inner self. The pursuit of proving oneself, a quest that often begins with youthful vigor, gradually unveils its elusive nature. As the sands of time slip through our fingers, the realization dawns that achievements, whether grand or modest, successes or setbacks, are but personal milestones on an individual odyssey. They are not the yardsticks by which others measure us, but rather the contours of our unique journey. In this realization, there's liberation. The wise, as the Stoics taught, do not live for the applause of the crowd, but for the harmony of their inner chorus. They navigate life's voyage with an inner compass, unswayed by the tempests of external opinion, crafting a life that is not just full but profoundly complete. Embracing simplicity is not a call to extinguish desires, but to kindle the flames of discernment, understanding what is truly sufficient. It's about cherishing a handful of deep, resonant connections over a multitude of superficial ones. It's about speaking through actions rather than a cascade of words, embodying the Stoic virtue that actions resonate more profoundly than rhetoric. In this simplicity, there's a lightness, a clarity that paves the path to genuine happiness. Yet this wisdom of simplicity is often lost in the cacophony of modern existence. As we transition from the structured corridors of education to the uncharted terrain of societal engagement, dreams often become entangled in the thorns of reality. In the relentless pursuit of more, the essence of enough fades into the background. It's often not until the reflective years of middle age that the fog lifts, revealing the precious pearls of simplicity that were there all along. Those who embrace simplicity may not harbor grand ambitions, but their journey is no less remarkable. They engage in a different kind of striving, a striving for personal growth, for authenticity, for becoming the most refined version of themselves. It's in this process of continuous self-evolution that life's true pinnacle is reached. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." In our modern world, where the clamor for more can be deafening, these timeless principles of Stoicism and minimalist philosophy offer a sanctuary. They remind us that in the pursuit of less, we uncover an abundance of peace, clarity, and fulfillment. They urge us to nurture our inner selves, to tread the path of simplicity, not as a sacrifice, but as a celebration of life's true essence. In this journey, we find not just the art of living, but the art of living well. In this journey through the minimalist philosophy, we've explored the profound truth that less is indeed more. The path to true abundance isn't paved with relentless pursuits and insatiable desires, but with the serene acceptance of simplicity and the mindful acknowledgement of what truly matters. As we conclude this exploration, remember that the essence of a fulfilling life doesn't reside in the external world of material possessions or societal accolades. It dwells within the tranquil depths of a contented heart and a mind at peace with itself. The minimalist philosophy isn't about depriving oneself, but about discovering the richness of life in its most unadorned form. So, as you navigate through the ebb and flow of existence, I invite you to embrace the minimalist mindset. Let go of the superfluous, cherish the essential, and find the abundance that lies in simplicity. Remember, the less you want, the more you have. And now, I turn to you, my Stoic in Your Life community. If this message resonates with you, if you find solace in the simplicity and abundance of the minimalist philosophy, I encourage you to engage with this channel. Like this video, if it has brought you a moment of reflection, share it with those who might find peace in its message, and subscribe to Stoic in Your Life to join us on this journey of introspection and growth. Don't forget to turn on notifications, ensuring you never miss a video, as we continue to explore the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and how it can illuminate our modern lives. Together, let's cultivate a life of serene abundance, one where we desire less, yet paradoxically have so much more. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Until our paths cross again, live simply, live well.